Good evening, everybody. Thank you. We have a intimate crowd. We're recording this, so it will also be on YouTube, and we'll put it on our social media channels. So I want to take a second to thank you on behalf of the university for taking the time to come out tonight. We appreciate it. I have parking passes for anyone that needs them. I'll make sure I'll come over and get it to you. And again, I'm Phil Carver. I'm the Director of Community and City Relations here at the university. So I'm the guy you come to if you've got any problems. I won't be able to solve them, but so I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for this evening is Provost Joe Berger.
Thanks, Phil. Good evening. All right, we'll give that about a B+. No, as Phil said, I'm Joe Berger, and I have the privilege to serve as the Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs here at UMass Boston. And we're really pleased you've come to join us because, our neighbors and our community really matter to UMass Boston. We are very proud to be Boston's only public research university. And with the work that we do here, and I'm going to talk about some of the highlights in a moment, but it has global and national impact, but we fully recognize that we have no integrity if our primary focus isn't what happens right here in our own backyard, in our own communities, with our neighbors. And so we really appreciate you taking the time and interest to come and engage with us this evening. So I'm going to give a few updates about our strategic plan and what's happening academically at the university. Then I'm going to turn it over to my good colleagues, Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance, Kathleen Curlays, who's going to talk about updates on for the campus, and particularly with what we're doing in terms of our planning and campus. And then to get into even more details, our good colleague Dennis Swinfer, who's the director of our Office of Planning and Sustainability, is going to give even greater detail about not just where we are, but where we're going as a campus with our campus master plan. We will have time for questions and answers at the end. We do want to talk about some current things, but really then we want to talk about strategically where we are and where we're going as a campus. I'm sure that everybody's heard about that we had a burst water pipe in the Motley East Residence Hall during the very cold weather. And there was significant water damage. Unfortunately, it started on the 10th floor, which meant it went down. So that the residence hall, it's a public-private partnership between the university and the Capstone on-campus management, along with the property owner Provident. So we've been working very closely with them to immediately not just assess the situation, but meet our students' needs. The building is still not ready for occupancy. We are working with state and city inspectors to make sure that everything's ready to go for the students to return. I do want to assure everybody that all students have been provided a place to stay and have had significant assistance in terms of financial support, but academic support and emotional support because this was very disruptive. And so we want to make sure that we're taking care of them. We did establish a relief center we got an incredible outpouring of support from alumni, employee, other students, local community members to contribute to a relief fund. And we're very grateful that Chancellor Suarez Orozco released some other philanthropic funds to get them to the students who needed them immediately, and that we are continuing to support those students. We're still taking donations, and the picture here, I just do want to say, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's all sorts of clothes, and there was a student-led clothing drive to help their fellow students, and it was amazing the amount of supplies and clothes that were brought, primarily by other students. Lots of staff and faculty brought things also, but it really showed how students step up for each other in a moment of crisis. So we're very grateful for that. So now I want to just give very quickly an overview of where we are academically. As a university, our core function, our mission, right, is to be an outstanding academic university. And we're in the third year of our 10-year strategic plan for the Times that has 5 strategic priorities. Number one, it's not just first in the list, it's number one in every way, is holistic student success. And I'll talk very briefly about each of these in a moment. Secondly is impactful research and scholarship. Third is for the city. We are a university that is of and for the city. And third is enriching our human core. Our people are the most important part of our university, so how do we invest resources, infrastructure to further the development of our own internal community? And then reimagining campus space, which you're going to hear a lot more about during this presentation. So I want to start with holistic student success. And I'm not going to go into everything we're doing because you're not here to spend the entire night hearing about that. But I will say there are some real points of pride about progress that we're making for our students. One is really focusing on enhancing experiential learning. You know, the contemporary world, it's not enough to be well educated just because you have a particular set of content knowledge. How students learn, how they engage with real world experiences, skills, and competencies. And really, this campus is not the only place that students learn, but the broader community as well. So we've engaged in a number of things such as integrating academic and career advising. One of the things we found, like many universities, is that many students weren't availing themselves of the outstanding career services we have until they were far into their academic programs, and that didn't benefit them as well as really from the very start getting the opportunity to think about how their interest in what they're studying or what their career interests were could mutually reinforce good decisions about their academic programs, which courses to take, and what kinds of experiences to engage in. And we have found that to be very successful. We've organized our career services around 8 career communities, and this was done in consultation with local industry and businesses about which groups of businesses needed certain types of skills, and so that we could organize our different career counselors around having some expertise and specialties with those, but then we could also link certain majors to those career communities. We've been greatly expanding our Learn and Earn internships. The majority of our students, and we're very proud of the fact that they come, the majority are local, the majority are their first in their family that'll go to college, and also are fully eligible. There are a lot of, Boston is a city that has more research universities than any other in the country, that has more university students than any other in the country. But we're the ones who serve this particular set of demographics. But that means that our students, even if an internship could be a life-transforming experience to learn new skills, to network, to have an opportunity to have practical knowledge, that they just often cannot afford to give up their jobs that they're working to be able to afford to be here. Many of them are, maybe actually supporting families. So if they can't get some sort of paid internship, they can't take advantage of what could be a life-changing experience. So we've put a lot of emphasis on creating and working with, again, local businesses, philanthropies, community agencies to get, and some institutional resources to get students increasingly larger numbers of paid internships. We've also been introducing competency-based badges and micro-credentials that are skills-based, so that in addition to the traditional academic curriculum, that our students have the opportunity to earn badges that will be recognized by employers in industry as certifying that our students have particular practical skills that will benefit them. And we're expanding this also so that these can reach out to community members as well for professional development. And so you'll be hearing more about that in the coming months and years. And then we've created a course that's called AI for All. One of the things we're really proud of is artificial intelligence becomes ubiquitous in about every phase of our life, is that while other universities are focusing on things like how to build a smarter, faster AI, we're focusing on what are the practical, responsible, and ethical uses of AI. And so we've created courses for students, regardless of their major, have opportunities to learn about, again, the practical, ethical, and responsible use of AI. We've put a lot of emphasis on successful pathways to and through UMass Boston. One is early college. Very few four-year institutions historically have participated in providing early college. We are working with 5 Boston public high schools: Margarita Muniz Academy, Tech Boston Academy, Fenway High, New Mission High, and of course Ruth Batson Academy right next door, to provide up to 30 college credits for free for the students at those high schools. These are high schools that have traditionally had lower levels of participation in going to college, and so we want to work with those schools to help those students get a leg up. And this has a real financial impact on students too. If you can come to college with up to 30 college credits that you don't have to pay for, and you can have an accelerated pathway to earn a degree, this is a game changer for students. We've launched a new public urban health program. We identified this as a real need in the communities, and so we're in our second year of offering that as a new undergraduate degree. And actually, we're just about finished negotiating a memorandum of understanding with the Boston Public Health Commission, so that any student who is majoring in this program will have the opportunity to have an internship with the Boston Public Health Commission. We've also created this new Office of Community and Executive Education that is providing non-credit badges, certificates, professional development opportunities out in the community. And then the two things I'm really proud of, one is the Beacon Pledge. Last year we launched the first public four-year institution in Massachusetts to do so, a pledge that every in-state student who is fully Pell eligible, who comes from a family that makes $75,000 or less, will have all of their financial need met to cover their tuition and mandatory fees at UMass Boston. This helped us realize a record-breaking in-state pool of new students that arrived on campus this fall. And we think it's the right thing to do, given our mission and our role in the higher ed system. And then we also created the Future Beacons program with Bunker Hill Community College. This allows students to be jointly admitted simultaneously to both Bunker Hill and UMass Boston. We already have articulation agreements, but those students from day one, even while they're taking their classes at Bunker Hill and getting their associate's degree before transferring here, get a UMass Boston ID. They get to use all the campus facilities, come to use the rec center, come to our events, get access to our library holdings and electronic resources, which are significant. And we also have an embedded counselor to work with those students while they're at Bunker Hill. Because we are part of a larger public education ecosystem, and this will help more students be able to get ready and come and succeed in earning a bachelor's degree and beyond here at UMass Boston. I just want to talk briefly about our impactful research and scholarship. We have 4 grand scholarly challenges in our strategic plan. climate equity in urban coastal areas. And so, for example, we're doing all this great research, but it isn't research for the sake of research. It's to inform real-world practical problems. So our Stone Living Lab on campus has helped install and create the first 2 living seawalls in Boston Harbor, which are natural ways to help address rising sea levels and absorb them. Education for the future, looking at new and novel ways that young people learn, and particularly post-COVID with lost learning, and how can we use new pedagogies and approaches to curriculum to inform learning in Boston public schools. Bridging divides in health equity from cells to society. We're doing some leading work here through our personalized cell therapy for cancer that allows us to study populations who usually have not had their, a lot of the gene therapy work that's been done in the major research centers have been from a very limited pool of genes that tend to come from only certain demographic populations. So we've greatly expanded it to reflect the full diversity of Greater Boston and beyond, and that advancing a just society, local and global dimensions. Our largest research institute on campus is the Institute for Community Inclusion, that focuses on how to make workforce entry and opportunities, as well as educational opportunities, more equitable for people with a whole range of disabilities. And by doubling down on these strengths that are very practical and relevant has been a key part of our elevation to become one, we've had 5 straight years of record-breaking research. And even last year when the federal government was canceling grants and reducing spending, we still had another record year for sponsored research. And this helps us have the kind of positive impacts that I've been talking about, but it also allowed us to achieve something that's called the Research 1, R1 University status, which puts us up in the top echelon of research universities in the country. So it's not just other private institutions across the river that have that status. Now we do too. But what that means, it also increases the value of our students' degrees because they're being taught by the faculty members who are producing the knowledge that's getting taught in other universities. And so this is really important for us. But what we're really proud of, given our mission, is of all the R1 universities in the nation, and this is designated by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching and Learning. The Carnegie also introduced a new national ranking on access, defined by what percentage of your students come from low income and minoritized racial and ethnic communities. And UMass Boston is #1 in the nation. So there are not many universities who can say they're #1 in the nation in something. So we're really proud of this because this is at the core of who we are. So, and because we're a university of the city, and I do want to say that, we are preparing the students to be Boston's future. And frankly, I will say there is no happy future for the Boston without our students. Of the research universities in Greater Boston, we, by far and away, more UMass Boston students stay local. For our undergraduates, approximately 80% of our undergraduates stay within Greater Boston and the Commonwealth to work after graduation. Let me tell you, that is a lot higher than the other research universities across the river. But we also think that it's our role and responsibility to strengthen local institutions. So when I was talking before about the work that we're doing with early college and Boston Public Schools and with working with Roots Batson Academy, which is now the first university-assisted community school in New England, and one of the very few in the country that a public university, not a private university, is supporting. So we are providing wraparound support for the Batson Academy, not just working with the curriculum and the pedagogy and the teachers, but also with the mental health and behavioral counseling, But we're working with them as partners then to also be developing other community services that will not only serve the families, or serve the students, but will also serve the families as we continue to develop this project. And again, we're very proud of the fact that Batson is right here. It's a school that has historically struggled, and so we have a responsibility to work with them to improve learning and support at the Batson Academy. So that's just a real quick few highlights of what we're doing on the academic side. We do have a lot to be proud of, and but again, we're proud because we really do take it seriously that it's not just what happens on campus, but it's the impacts that it makes off campus as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen, who can provide some other campus updates. Thank you very much.
Welcome again, everybody. My name is Kathleen Kierleis. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance. This is my 9th year at UMass Boston, and I'm happy to talk a little bit this evening about some of the work we've been doing on campus. So just briefly, we'll touch on some of the university's capital projects, some of the projects that we've been working on with outside parties, and then also talk a little bit about campus accessibility and transportation options here locally at UMass Boston. So just as a backdrop, the university continues to invest in the physical plant here on campus. We have planned our budget on a 5-year basis, and it's nearly $200 million over the next 5 years. Most of what we're doing is focused in 2 major areas. One is deferred maintenance, which is taking care of all the buildings that we have here on campus and ensure they're in good order for our students and the community. Also, compliance and safety is our second area. So we've been working to make sure that we've got all projects that ensure that the campus continues to meet all the safety and compliance requirements that we need to for accreditation purposes, for standards that might be required for our different disciplines on campus. And then we also invest in a number of other areas on a smaller basis. One of the great things with our budget that we've been able to do is really, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has also been investing in public higher education here, including at UMass Boston. So the state's been sponsoring 5-year critical repair funds programs that are used for deferred maintenance. So we went through the state's first 5-year program, and we were able to utilize almost $12 million worth of state funding to help improve some of our areas on campus. And now they currently have another program that's going now from last year up through 2028 for a second round to really invest in the buildings that are out and about around for public higher education. And here we've got $32 million invested in right here at UMass Boston. So we have some projects there, and I'll point a few out as we go along here. Some of the ones that are getting funded, we've completed is we did go about, we're looking at all the campus doors on campus. If you've been to some of our buildings, some of the stuff is original issue from back in the 70s. So we've been working on replacing those to improve energy, to improve access, and just to have things work better. So we've done the Clark Athletic Center and the Campus Center and some of the Healy Library in our first round. And this is complete, so if you're out and you've gone over to the Campus Center, you'll see that we've got some nice new doors out by where the buses come by. We're now going to start on the remaining buildings. So we've got all the rest of the buildings going to be done with doors. We're actually starting this construction this spring, so you'll see that out and about. We also were taking a look at how can we be more energy efficient on campus, and one of the things is historically we've had we're just like one big energy meter here. So we didn't really have a way to track the energy usage in our buildings, and so we have a project that is a sub-metering project. So we'll be able to look at energy usage by building, and that will allow us to really tie some of the work that we're doing to make our buildings more efficient, be able to measure that, and to continue to work on ways that we could save utility costs. We're also looking at elevators. We've got elevators that we're doing in our library and on the campus center, so those are underway, and we're also working on some roof replacements. The campus center is the one you'll see. We're just actually going to begin construction of that. So the roof in the campus center is vintage from when the building opened in 2004. So it's got to the end of its useful life, and we're now in the process of going to be replacing that. And then once that's done, we're also going to have a solar array that's going to be put up on the top of it as well. So those are some of the projects that we have that are in construction or underway. We've also completed a number of projects. I just wanted to give you a few highlights so that you could see. One is we did improve University Drive West. So anybody who's drove over here, who's been driving here, we really worked to make this be a little bit more safer. There's a lot of pedestrians that cross between the West Garage and the campus. And so we've worked to really make sure that it's safe for drivers and pedestrians. And so that was done last summer and has been in use for this academic year. We've worked with our athletic program. We've updated the locker rooms in the Clark Athletic Building. We're building a new softball field right now. It's currently under a huge snowbank, but it is planned to be, we are going to, as soon as the snow's melting, we are planning to, the construction actually be done this spring so the softball team can use the field. And we really invite all of you to come over once it's done because it's really going to create a facility for our women's softball team that's much closely more aligned with what we have over at Monin Park for the men's baseball team. And it's really going to just be great for everyone to come out and watch a game with girls softball. We've also, we've just recently funded some improvements for our campus police and public safety department. The state came through and funded this one for us, and we were able to take all the locations where we had campus police previously, and now they're in one location. And so they've got a new dispatch center and all the latest things that they needed for public safety. So that's in our service and supply building. It was completed this spring. And we've also done an immersive simulation suite for our Manning College of Nursing and Health Sciences. This was funded federally. Congressman Lynch was a huge supporter of this project and helped bring some of this funding to the university. And this allows our nursing students to have simulation labs where they can practice. And you can take these labs, you can turn it into the JFK T-stop. You can turn it into a forest. You can turn it into an apartment. And before they had labs like this, we used to have to build, we'd build an apartment where the students could learn the skills that they needed. Now we can just use the simulation lab and do multiple kinds of scenarios. So it's terrific enhancement for our program, and we're really thankful for the support that the federal government gave us on this. We also have moved our Institute for Community Inclusion that the provost was just talking about, Provost Berger was just talking about, and some of our other institutes. We moved we'd had a number of departments over on Mount Vernon Street. Everybody's now back on campus, so we've moved everyone back. They're here on campus. And then we also have updated our Wheatley Peters Hall. Our students had actually brought forward, they had done some research about Phyllis Wheatley, and she had gone during her lifetime with the name of Phyllis Wheatley Peters, and so we've updated Wheatley Hall to be Wheatley Peters Hall, and you'll see that out on the front of the building and as you go into the building there. We've also done a number of upgrades. I won't go through these in great detail, but just different investments in space to make the campus better for our students and for all who come to use it. And so we've updated some of the campus center. We've updated some work in our college of management. Our Snowden Auditorium, this is over in Wheatley. This is a big lecture hall that we use, and we just completely redid it. One thing you might want to check out when the weather's a little bit nicer, or maybe for people who are a little bit hardier who have been out there, the Friends of the Harbor Walk, we've done some signs all around the Harbor Walk on the part of the campus, by campus, and just a lot of different background and information about the neighborhood and the university. And so it's really done a terrific project. So if you haven't had a chance to go out and see it, when the weather gets a little bit nicer, do go out and walk on the Harbor Walk, and you can check out all the signs. And we're thankful for the partnership with Friends of the Harbor Walk in getting that project done. We've got a couple things up and coming. We're working on with our College of Management. We're working on some common space and some things to improve the use of the space in that college. We're going to do a new roof in our service and supply building. So this will be able to replace a roof that's almost as old as the building and allow it to be also used for some ways for people to congregate and enjoy, come together when the weather's a little bit nicer. We're doing wayfinding. Our campus director of campus sustainability and planning, Dennis Swinford, and his team are heading this one up, but really to improve signage around campus. So we're trying to get that, we're updating that, so that will help us direct people around and people can find their way around campus. I don't know about you, but if you can find your way around Wheatley, we have a diploma for you because I think that's probably a prerequisite for graduating here. And then last but not least, I did want to talk a little bit about Dorchester Bay City and the calf pasture pump station. These are two projects that the university's been working with some other folks on about planning and thinking about for the future. So Dorchester Bay City, this project is still underway. current status is that there's been an extension for the project closing date. So Accordia is still working on getting this project closed. They haven't through July 2026. So the work continues, and we're looking forward to hearing more about that as they go through their work this spring. And as I've said in some other previous sessions here, this is a cash transaction for the university. So for us, when the project closes, there'll be funding that comes to us. It will help us pay off some debt that we have, as well as to be able to invest in future projects for the campus, for our campus master plan that Dennis Swinford is talking about. So as we get to that point, we'll be doing more planning and have more information about that. The calf pasture pump station, this is another project the university has looked at. Here, I'd say the key takeaway here is we want Dorchester Bay City to close before we proceed with the calf pasture pump station. So this is something that we do envision as a public-private partnership, but right now there's really been no update on what's going on with it because we want to see what's going on. We'll have Dorchester Bay City close and then see what would make sense for the university, working with the community and others to develop a plan. So it's in the master plan as a holding point, and we expect some more discussion about that in the future. Last thing I just would want to touch on briefly is campus accessibility. We continue to try to work on ways for people to come to UMass Boston easily and safely. So we do have for our shuttles, they operate 7 days a week right from the JFK T-stop down Mount Vernon Street to our campus. We've added some additional stops on Mount Vernon Street to meet demand. So if you are going down Mount Vernon Street, we now have stops right in front of the Peninsula Apartment. So that people can get off there and enter the campus from that end of campus. And we also have increased our weekend shuttle service to match demand during peak times so that as we have activities on campus during the weekend, there's shuttles that come and go to the T in a timely manner. We do have cycling. We have blue bikes here at UMass Boston. They're over by the campus center, as well as students often take them from the JFK T station or the stop on Mount Vernon Street and come down to campus. We have a secure bike room on in the West Garage that allows people to lock up their bikes in a secure area while they're here on campus. For motor vehicles, we do have a new quad parking lot that's opened in 2024. So this is a 300 space parking lot that's in the middle of campus that was built as part of the SDQD project, and it's provided for some additional space on campus. There's Zipcar that's on campus, so for folks who drive occasionally, the Zipcar's there. That's for anybody. You don't have to be a member of the UMass Boston community. If you're signed up with Zipcar, you can come over and use one of the cars that are located there. For everybody who has any electric vehicles, we have added EV charging stations here on campus. We have 15 in the West Garage on the first floor. We also have 4 out in the quad lot, and there are 4 in the campus center garage in the lower level of the campus center garage. So we're continuing to invest in this. I'm really getting some grants on that to be able to provide places on campus for electric vehicles to charge. We also have been investing in for some electric vehicles in our own fleet here on campus as part of our work with sustainability. And then last but not least, we do have carpooling here at UMass Boston in an effort to try to keep as many vehicles off the road as we can and out of off the roadways. And so we do have carpooling, and for those members of the community who are in the carpool, they get reserved preferred parking spots in the West Garage and the Campus Center Garage and also the quad lot. So I think that's a lot of information in a very short period of time. I would just want you to walk away feeling that the campus is really continuing to invest in the physical plant to really make this be not only an excellent destination for our students, for our faculty and staff, but also for the members of the community and others who come to visitors who come to the campus. And with that said, I'm going to turn the floor over to Dennis Swinford, who's going to give you an update about sustainability and resiliency efforts, and a little bit about the campus master plan. So Dennis?
Now the fun part, really. As far as I'm concerned, this is the fun part. Joe has a pretty good part, and Kathleen does too, but this is really obviously near and dear to my heart, thinking about how we grow and how we change the campus, not only to meet our academic needs, but to do that sustainably is something that we're really trying to do. So With that, our sustainability and resiliency effort is really kicked off by our submission back in 2023 to a program to the Association of Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education, or ASHE, as we call it. And they have a rating program that works with any college that wants to enter it, and they judge our efforts on different parts of the campus. So they look at what educational programs we offer in sustainability, what we do operationally in terms of sustainability. They also offer guidance and points in outreach, community outreach for sustainability on the campus. So we work closely with that group, and we did it the first time in 2023, and we got a silver rating, which is really, really quite good. They have a platinum, gold, and silver, and then bronze is the one below us. But to come out right out of the bag and get silver was wonderful. One of the biggest components that gave us that silver rating was our work academically. We were really quite strong academically in the rating. We were also strong operationally in the ratings. One thing that we were not that strong at and needed a little bit more work on is doing outreach to our students and to our campus community. So those are things that we have been working on in sustainability. We also, I think the last time that we met, we talked about the Energy and Carbon Master Plan that we did. We created goals around that for our campus. Really, that is the biggest part of sustainability that we can do for the campus, is make us net zero at some point in time, bring renewable energy onto campus, and really reduce our dependence on fossil fuel. So with that, we have some programs that we are building and working on and implementing now. The first step is to increase our cooling capacity on campus. That will allow us to be ready for the peaks more efficiently in the summer for cooling, and it will also give us the ability to switch off less efficient cooling facilities when we have this new one built. So that's our first step. That's being built, and we'll be working fall. The second step is to really begin to use our locational endowment, not only for research and education and a beautiful environment, but also to help our sustainability efforts by using the ocean as a thermal sink. So we are expanding our saltwater pump house facility to bring, now it brings in the water and helps us cool. We use it for cooling during the summer, but we're going to expand it so that we're able to help us also provide heating during the winter. We're also adding more solar arrays. We are adding capacity of about 850 kilowatt hours of solar array capacity on campus by putting solar arrays on. Right now, we're working on additionally adding to this, the arrays on West Garage and then the McCormick building. And then later on, we'll be adding more solar panels on the Quinn building and the campus center. So all these things will be happening, and when they're there, they'll be done and be creating energy for us, and you won't be able to see them. So it's really a great addition to our sustainability efforts here on campus. To outreach and to what we've been doing to help increase our outreach on campus, we had Earth Day, our first Earth Day on the quad. We celebrated the sun that day because we had got the final paper signed for our solar arrays being brought on campus. We have new EV vehicles on campus, and we're also using quite a bit of our grounds equipment are now electrically charged. So we are quickly making our way to really relying on solar power on the campus to provide some of the need in terms of energy. Future sustainability action. We did it in 2023. Coming up, we need to renew our stars. We hope to up our rating to gold this year, and so we're doing the comprehensive sustainability review again this year. Plan for future actions, transportation, work with transportation to make that more sustainability. Our food and our waste stream are all things that we're working on. We've created a new Beacon Sustainability Council that is members of all the academic community, operational community, and then our outreach community so they can all work together on advancing sustainability goals on the campus. Learning Lab, one of the big pieces of the master plan and the strategic plan was using our locational endowment to have our campus used as a learning lab. There was Joe referenced the living seawall. We're installing that on campus. We're also working on putting in a community garden that will both be used by researchers and our students in sustainability to have a local garden and grow food locally. And then we are continuing to create more engagement opportunities through student life, hands-on learning opportunities, and internships in our department. So the Campus Master Plan update. We created the Campus Master Plan at the same time that we did the strategic plan, which was really wonderful that we were able to marry the two together and actually create a Campus Master Plan that supported our strategic plan. The highlights of the master plan was these 10 things, and I really do like to point out a few of these. I won't do all of them, but a few that are really quite important is to continue and to work on engaging our Boston location, create a more welcoming campus so that people that visit our campus feel welcome and come and use our campus. And then the one that we're doing really diligently is adding more student space on campus. Our campus was built primarily as a commuter campus, so it envisioned students coming and going, coming to class and leaving. One of the things, since the campus was built and developed, one of the things we've learned is that if we can get students to stay on campus longer, they'll do better academically. So we are working on, people laugh when I call it this, but we are working on sticky spaces. And that is places that are comfortable, like here, where you're comfortable to hang out, maybe not study, maybe have a cup of coffee, talk to your friends, get on Instagram, do some social media stuff, but stay on campus. So that was one of the things we're trying to do, is just find places to create student space and those types of student spaces on campus. So we are busily implementing the master plan. And the two things that we are doing are we are creating an enabling project. And the enabling project there are several uses in our service and supply building. So that is the building just across the street from West Garage. That has a lot of functions in it, like our trades. There is shipping and receiving there, our grounds department, many very, very important functions for the campus, but things that you don't necessarily want at your front door, or one of your front doors. One thing about campuses are there multiple doors, but this is our west front door, if you will, and we are working on moving those functions out of service and supply, and we are going to reactivate the McCormick loading dock. A couple things is it provides space and surface and supply to be reused for other purposes. It also takes a lot of traffic away from the pedestrian traffic that's created by the West Garage coming across campus. So we have pickup trucks, ground vehicles, things like that are all going to move over to McCormick loading dock and take that traffic away from that spot. It's also going to create the ability to build the next building that we're working on doing, and that is, this is my slide on McCormick loading dock. It's over on the left is the uses that will go into that spot, and then a picture of it today. That will allow us to then begin to create a spot for Manning College of Nursing and Health Sciences expansion. They are currently in Quinn, which is the building that is connected to service and supply. So we chose this spot, but because we're not going to move any of the other uses, we're going to add uses close to them so that they are able to expand their programs. So there's a couple things. So we are looking at new construction in parking lot S, which is the small parking lot between West Garage and Service and Supply, and then create a connection between that building and the new front door of the campus on the west end that connects to the spine. And the spine is really what connects the whole campus from east to west. And once you get on the spine, you can really find all the buildings easily off the spine. So that was a big part of the master plan, was being able to implement this really key wayfinding and kind of geographically legible projects. So that is a part of this project, is creating that new front door for the campus on the west side. The other thing that we're doing, and that this project is being funded by the state, and we hope to start building it in a year and a half to 2 years. The other future planning we're doing is a key component of the campus master plan was re-envisioning our Healy Library as a library that offers all types of student success and community success programs. So we've been working on creating a plan for the library that sees things like student success come in, centers and institutes come in. So you'll be able to come to one place on campus and really get academic support and help on research, computer. We're bringing in maker spaces and computer AI spaces into the library. So we really do begin to see it as the academic heart of the campus. So we're working on creating a master plan for the Healy Library. And this is our campus. I love this set of slides. This is our campus today. Well, not today. It's actually, the quad isn't built here on this slide, but this is what we envision the campus to be in the future. Thank you.